So, did Jeffrey Epstein's network build Bitcoin? A question that a lot of people have been asking as Bitcoin has been taking a huge hit from $126,000 per coin down now to, I believe, 67 to 68,000, down 50% in just 4 months. And people are assuming that it's going to go lower. I found this article that was very well written by Diana Wallace. So big credits to her. I wanted to share it with you, and you guys can feel free to share your thoughts down in the comment section. Like many of you guys, as I heard rumors of Jeffrey Epstein being a part of the core development of Bitcoin, I originally didn't believe it. As many of you guys know, I'm not a supporter of Bitcoin, but I don't like to feed into conspiracies. I don't care to. I think it's a waste of time. But the way that things are explained and broken down and proved that he did have involvement in the sense that he did provide funding for the early development of Bitcoin. It really begins to kind of like get you to ask that question, well, Jeffrey Epstein was not a good guy. So why did he want to be a part of this coin? And if you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense, because who were the early adopters of Bitcoin? It was people in the black market, right? They didn't want to be tracked when using formal currency. And it kind of makes sense. It aligns with the type of market that Jeffrey Epstein is known for, right? And that's child trafficking. It's terrible. Yet people want to support this coin. We'll get into that. Again, that's just my personal opinion. So the money. Jeffrey Epstein donated $850,000 to MIT between 2022 and 2017. Of that, $525,000 went directly to the MIT Media Lab's Digital Currency Initiative, the program that became the central hub for Bitcoin's protocol development. So again, Jeffrey Epstein's money, the $525,000, and the Bitcoin core developers. So when asking that simple question, did he have involvement in the original development of Bitcoin? The simple answer is yes, based off of what is provided to us, right? In 2015, when the Bitcoin Foundation ran out of money, Bitcoin's core development team moved to MIT Media Labs. Epstein's funding helped pay for their salaries, and the director of MIT's Media Lab and frequent Epstein contact emailed him about the hire. This is a big win for us. And again, this is according to files that Diana Wallace has shared within this article. In a separate email, Ito thanked Jeffrey Epstein directly. FYI, use gift funds to underwrite this, which allowed us to move quickly and win this round. Thanks. 75%. This was the big thing for me. 75% of Bitcoin's code, 35,000 of its 47,000 commits was written after Jeffrey Epstein became the de facto financial backer of Bitcoin's core development team. And then it goes into the specifics of the different holding companies, the different shell companies that Epstein was a part of that allowed him to engage with ownership and management of equity investment in Blockstream Corporation, and how he had these different connections and different involvements with not just the development of Bitcoin itself, but how he actually was able to be one of the early investors in these huge platforms, the Coinbase investment. This was something that I was completely unaware of. So in 2014, Brock Pierce, for those that do not know who he is, I quickly looked him up. And again, this is who it shows that he is. And it says Brock Pierce, former child actor, Tether co-founder and serial crypto entrepreneur, told Epstein that his fund, Blockchain Capital, was investing in Coinbase's next round. Pierce said that he would need your permission to let the founder know who you are, but Epstein's identity would not be disclosed beyond that. Epstein said, yes, okay. He committed a $3 million investment to Coinbase through a shell entity, IGO Company LLC. By 2018, Blockchain Capital offered to buy out Epstein's which settled at a purchase of 50% of his stake for $15 million. So $3 million turned into $15 million, and that's valuing Coinbase at $4 billion. The payment went through another entity, Epstein entity, in 2017 of Caterpillar Trust. Again, just a bunch of different shell companies to hide the identity of Epstein. To me, it just shows, again, how much effort was put in to not show Epstein's involvement in the development of Bitcoin. The thing that I want to quickly show is that Coinbase, obviously now being publicly traded, remember it said that $15 million buyout was at a $4 billion valuation. The current market cap has now 10x'd from that. Right now it's at a $43 billion market cap. So it's really interesting to see that, okay, they said that they did a 50% buyout of his stake for $15 million. So that's pretty interesting because, well, now, it doesn't mean that he still owns that other 50% of the original $3 million investment. But if he did, what would that look like, right? 10x from that, that would be quite pretty, right? 150 million is potentially what it could be worth. And that's just with his, what would have been 50% of the 3 million, the $1.5 million investment through Coinbase. So Brock Pierce's pipeline. Pierce wasn't an investor. He was Epstein's gateway into the entire crypto world. For those that do not, this is Pierce, right? I already showed him. Pierce first met Epstein at the Mind Shift conference on Little St. James Island in 2010, a PR event designed to rehabilitate Epstein's reputation after his 2008 conviction. The conference was such a failure that Epstein wrote himself a fake email pretending to be an attendee praising the event. And through Pierce, Epstein got access to everything. It's so odd that, they're pretty high profile figures in the space of crypto. And while all this speculation is now coming out, you're telling me that these people, Pierce, Steve Bannon, the Winklevoss twins, all of these guys know that Epstein had early involvement in the development of crypto, but didn't say anything. Again, super convenient, right? And again, if you guys have time, I would look up this article so you can read all of it. I just, again, don't want to read it word by word for you guys, but I want to highlight specific points. The idea is great. The execution, as you are now aware, has some serious risk. Jeffrey Epstein, an email to Bitcoin lead developer, Gavin Anderson. When looking at, again, another major take is, 1, you can merely work for me. Salary. 2, start a company and hire others. I make an investment. 3, do research. I can easily pay for your tuition. Jeffrey Epstein's email to Bitcoin developer Jeremy Rubin in 2015. The Bitcoin airdrop. In 2014, Ito spent $120,000 of Epstein's money on MIT's Bitcoin Club. Jeremy Rubin and Richard Nee ran the club at the time and used some of the money to gift $100 in Bitcoin to each MIT's 45,000 undergrad students. Epstein's money was literally distributed to thousands of college students in the form of Bitcoin, a mass adoption event funded by a pedophile. The pipeline. Epstein didn't just fund developers, he built the intellectual pipeline that made something like Bitcoin possible. In 1990, he began funding the Santa Fe Institute, the world's leading center for complexity theory. Complexity theory is the study of how simple rules create unpredictable systems, how individual agents following the local rules produce emergent global behavior that no one designed or controls. This is literally what Bitcoin is. Thousands of individual nodes following simple rules. Verify transactions, solve hash puzzlings, accept the longest chain, and out of that emerges a decentralized financial system with no central bank, no authority, just emergent order with simple rules. He bought the land next to the birthplace of the atomic bomb to recruit displaced physicists and mathematicians, the exact type of mind who would conceive of a decentralized, trustless currency. He was funding the theoretical framework of Bitcoin for years before Bitcoin existed. The question nobody wants to ask, Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonym of creator of Bitcoin, has never been identified. The white papers published in 2008, Satoshi disappeared from public communication in 2011. Here's what we know about Epstein in the same window. He was obsessed with cryptography. He was recruiting elite hackers and cybersecurity experts. He tried to attend DEF CON and Black Hat. He was in contact with people who took over Bitcoin's development after Satoshi vanished. He funded the institution that became Bitcoin's home. He wanted information about himself scrubbed from the internet, exactly the kind of thing that you'd need if you created the world's most important anonymous technology. He was an early investor in Coinbase in 2014. The Hermit, and again, we're almost done with this. In his interview with Steve Bannon, recorded on camera, now in the DOJ files, Epstein was asked how he saw himself. He didn't say investor, he didn't say philanthropist, he said, "I'm a hermit." Then he called himself the greatest financial mind alive. A hermit is someone who operates in the dark, someone nobody sees, someone who builds from behind a wall of silence and lets the world guess. Satoshi Nakamoto published white papers in 2008 and reinvented money, then vanished. No interviews, no identity, no face. The most consequential financial architect of the century and a ghost. Epstein funded the developers who took over after Satoshi disappeared. He invested in the companies and built the infrastructure. He hid every dollar behind shell entities. He recruited through middlemen. He operated through layers. He wanted himself scrubbed from each search engine. A man who doesn't like records built the backbone of a recordless currency. Let me be precise. Jeffrey Epstein was not a coder. He did not write C++. He didn't design cryptographic protocols. He did not write Bitcoin's white papers. The chance that Epstein personally was Satoshi Nakamoto is low, but nothing is impossible. Epstein's genius was never invention. It was positioning. He found the builders, funded through them through shells, and sat invisible at the center of everything that they created. That was the entire model, with scientists, politicians, billionaires, and now probably with the people who built Bitcoin. The real question isn't whether Epstein was Satoshi, it's whether he funded, organized, or commissioned whoever Satoshi was. And on that question, the DOJ files don't give us just a comfortable answer. He never once explained why. Nobody asked him, and now nobody can. The crypto community is already in shock. One investor wrote, "We've basically funded an elite global pedophile ring since 2015. I feel sick." He didn't build things himself. He positioned himself at the center of the people who built things, and he controlled the flow. He did it with politicians, he did it with scientists, he did it with billionaires, and the files now show that he did it with the people who built the most powerful financial technology in human history. Bitcoin's whole promise was that it couldn't be controlled. No banks, no government, no gatekeeper. It was built to be the one thing that powerful couldn't touch. But if Epstein was funding the developers, investing in the companies, and operating inside the infrastructure from the start, then the thing everyone believed was free was also already owned. Bitcoin was supposed to be freedom from the system. What if the system was there from the beginning? And again, this is a recap from Diana Wallace. You guys could find this fully on X. And if you really think about it, crypto is the perfect currency for someone like Epstein. A currency made by pedophiles for pedophiles. You guys let me know down in the comment section what you think. Following up with, again, a video that is circulating from Dan Pena where he stated, if you knew who created Bitcoin, it would go to zero. And if you look at Bitcoin's recent price action from 126 in just a few months, now down 50% to lows of 60, it really does show the uncertainty and how taken back the crypto community has been as light has begun to come out about Jeffrey Epstein's early investment into the development of Bitcoin. Again, feel free to share your thoughts down in the comment section. And remember, you're an adult. You can do whatever it is that you want. If you still believe in the future of Bitcoin, that is your right as an American to want to invest into Bitcoin. But based off of what you now know, again, I hope that you can make an informed and calculated decision to invest your money in actual assets that produce revenue. A constant comparison that is given is that, the market cap right now for Bitcoin is like 1.4 trillion versus they like to compare it to the Mag 7 companies like Microsoft, like Apple. Let me make this very clear. You cannot compare Apple to oranges. If you owned 100% of Apple, you would make billions of dollars in net profit every single year. If you owned 100% of Bitcoin, you would make nothing. You would have some pretty code you can stare at, and that's about it. Do not compare an actual business that produces revenue to a speculative asset that does nothing. It's been over 15 years since the development of Bitcoin, and guess what? It has not been adopted. A very simple question to challenge any crypto investor. Why is it taking so long for anyone to actually use Bitcoin? No grocery store, no retail stores are accepting crypto. It has become very simple. You even have the founder of Ethereum making it clear, where crypto has become a speculative tradable asset. And if not more development and innovation happens in the crypto space, that's all it will ever become. The biggest difference is if crypto is supposed to be a solution, what solution is it being by just being a tradable, speculative asset? Again, food for thought. I appreciate you guys' time. I hope that earned a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And again, if you ever want to watch me trade live, it's the second link in the description down below. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.